So this is one of those videos that starts out on the floor because the ThunderX3 Solo 360 just arrived for us to check out. Now the last chair we reviewed, the Noble Chair Dawn, is one I wasn't the greatest fan of for the price. This one however operates in a bit of a different price range. Now it's essentially available in 4 different flavors. So this right here is the Loft Air, but there's also a Mesh, Racer and Modern variants. And this one specifically is also the light grey one. You do get all of the essentials that you do need, like for example, an armrest, and also you get other really interesting stuff here, like another armrest. Now that it's all out, we can actually start talking about some of the things that make this chair unique. Probably one of the more interesting features is right here on the back of the main seat, you have a pocket. Yes, you just have a pocket at the back of your chair, which you can use for something. I don't know, like I actually have no idea what you'd practically want to store in there, but yeah, you have it just in case you need it. Congrats, your gaming chairs are marsupial. As you probably also noticed, it lacks any kind of adjustable lumbar support right here, which is very popular in gaming chairs right now. That does decrease its price greatly, and it makes it a pretty good option for those of you lucky enough to have a healthy back. I don't, so it basically already disqualifies this chair as a kind of long-term thing I'd use. But if the comfort's still okay, then it should also still be decent. In terms of the actual experience of putting it together, I wish companies spent more time and money trying to come up with new ways to make a process actually easier. In fact, this one will take you slightly longer to assemble than some of the others we showed up on this channel, given how you have to insert and screw in all of the individual legs that each of the casters then goes into, while many other chairs in the market have that pre-assembled. What I also very much didn't like is that they use one of these awful systems for storing all of the screws, where it's extremely difficult to actually open it at the back, and then you can't even see what the labels are on all of the screws without turning it over and all of the screws and potentially spilling out. So that's also annoying. I wish it came in some different system, even just individual baggies or whatever. So at the very least, they could all be screwed in with just one key size, so that's at least something. Okay, and now actually sitting in it, comfort-wise, it's actually pretty decent. I do like the headrest. It's kind of like that nice point between being too firm and too soft. It's like right in between and just how I like it. And again, even though I wish there was something just here at the bottom for me to adjust to kind of help with the lumbar support, as it is, it's not too bad. There is a couple of other party tricks I can now demonstrate about this chair, like one I'm really a big fan of, which is the fact that you can turn the armrest all the way around, so that means that they don't stick out as much, so you can really bring this thing up right up against your desk. So that is absolutely awesome when you're working. You can just drive this thing right up to the very edge. That's pretty fun. And also, unlike the Noble Chair's Dawn, it has a proper way of adjusting them. Like, that's all I wanted from Noble Chairs. I'm still looking forward to the day when some gaming chair introduces a system where you can just adjust both of them at the same time, because let's be honest, no one's ever going to have one armrest at one kind of height and one at the other height. They're always going to be synced, so take notes, gaming chair industry. Speaking of, the armrests actually have a pretty sweet texture on them. I don't know, I just kind of like them. The same way I really like the casters on these as well. They look really, really cool. It's a small detail that you rarely see, but it still adds up. But they also look like they shouldn't attract too much hair in them. Like so many other caster designs I see are basically hair magnets, just because they have the nooks in the right places to allow a lot of hairs to get trapped in them. And especially if you have long hair like me, that becomes a problem. But these ones look like they shouldn't be as bad in that regard. Now, one of the most interesting things about the design is the fact it has only a single handle for controls, right? So it does kind of the usual way you can just go up or you can go down, but also if you didn't just kind of let it go in or out, it's kind of very finicky. However, once you do manage to somehow get it on an outwards position, as you can see, you can go backwards. It's a very controlled descent. As you can see, you really have to kind of put your whole body weight to make it descend down, which in my case isn't the best because, well, I don't have a lot of body weight. This thing is going to cost you 220 euros or 190 pounds. And so I really want to hear your thoughts about it. If there's anything here that really stands out to you, let me know down in the comments below. And if you want to get it yourself, then our links that will be down in the video description below, alongside a Patreon, because even a single $1 month truly goes a long way. Plus huge thanks to Gavin Burns, Justin Rage, Ella Vroniak, Balish Volker, Not a Pseudonym, Max Sumner, Shane Allcroft, and Mason Magruder. But anyway, that's about it, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then remember to subscribe, like, whatever, and I'll see you all in whatever I make next. Goodbye everyone, goodbye.